Hey, Doug.
Hey.
The young guys, I was talking to Russ about this. The young guys seem to be providing that energy, that spark that the fans have really latched onto, and they've really seemed to appreciate the way those guys have played. Can you talk about that? Maybe a little bit of maybe the culture you and Scott have been trying to build, kind of coming through in those guys.
They're every pillar that we talk about when I talk about playing to a standard. Multiple efforts on the defensive end. They communicate at a high level, and they have fun. I've told you guys many times, this game is about joy, and it swells my heart to watch them compete that way because, it's not always going to go great, but they'll never be from a lack of them getting at it. That's for sure. So, yeah.
Coach Christie, it seems like, those young players, as far as, competing, they're looking forward to like that beam, and the fans are supporting that. Could you talk a little bit about how the effect that beam has on these young players?
Yeah, they greet each other, punching each other, and all types of stuff. It's one thing that I can always say about Sacramento when we're here and we're competing and the people truly love and appreciate that, there's a synergy that begins to happen, and that beam is part of it. These young players and the appreciation that the fans have is part of it. Those young players' appreciation for putting the jersey on and representing it the right way is a part of it, and I think that it comes across to our fans, and it's honest and it's real. Yeah.
Doug, it's not too common to have a 10-man rotation that's as balanced as you were able to find for the minutes tonight.
Yeah.
One, were you very intentional about trying to balance out those minutes? And two, how much of a benefit is it to have 10 guys that you can balance it out and have a consistent attack? Yeah,
it's difficult. But what I would say is, that's where the standard comes into play. It's kind of going to find its way. Some nights it's going to be somebody else. And, I said to them, it's like, listen, we have to make sure that we are consistent with our approach when we go into the game, because our depth is one of our biggest strengths. And the fact that somebody is sitting there biting and chomping at the bit and going to come in and play to the standard, it should raise the level of everyone. And I credit them all for competing the way that they did, and just, trying to find that rhythm for me, for them, is a thing. And they help me and hurt me all at the same time. But I love them for it, yeah, for sure.
Doug, after missing 27 games, Domas back tonight. Just what did you think? How did he look to you? And then also, what did you think of him with Dylan for those stretches?
I think Dylan with anyone is good. I thought Domas was great. I thought his energy was good. He ran the floor well. Didn't seem that anything was happening. That's part of it as we go through this and bring him along. We want to make sure he's right, and he looked really good. I thought he got a little gassed, in my opinion, at one point, but fantastic. Dylan, the one thing about him is he has the ability to guard on the perimeter, protects the rim, and communicates at a high level. So you can play him with a guy like Domas. You can play Dylan with a guy like Max as well. We haven't seen that one as much, but I'm sure that we will stumble across it at some time because of his activity, his physicality, and his willingness to rebound the basketball. He does all the things, all the dirty work, and that's big time.
Doug, when you when you look at the 4-game win streak, what stands out the most to you?
Playing to the standard, like the competitiveness. The willingness to defend, rebound, and share the basketball. It's been more of a consistent effort and a consistent approach to what we're trying to accomplish. And, winning is part of it. But, listen, I want to win all the time. But for me, I'm very proud of the standard that they play into, because I've told you guys, in my opinion, the byproduct of that is winning. We ain't going to win them all as part of it, but we can control the things that we can control. So control that, and then we can live with whatever happens.
Doug, one of the challenges you guys have had this year is like all the in and out and integrating, guys back and forth. Like to see Domas come in after 27 games and then like 19-2 run, like right off the bat, how pleasantly surprised were you see things working that well?
I mean, there was a jolt of energy in the building. I think people were excited. They were really happy to see him back. And then, his physicality and, he has a gift to be able to rebound the basketball and push it. And it took a second, I think, for guys to realize, oh, boy, I got to run. And all of a sudden, guys were downhill. Even on some of his passes, like dropping it, you got to remember, that's how Domas passes it. So it was really nice to see him in a uniform and competing at a high level. It's been a while. Yeah.
Doug, in years past, kind of a common theme of opponents coming into this building was shooting really well from three-point range. That's been pretty consistent. Or the opposite's been pretty consistent over this win streak. You're holding teams to low percentages from three. What is the difference that you're seeing with the three-point defense specifically?
Yeah, well, our shell defense, obviously, we're trying to protect the paint, but the multiple effort to close out and arrive on a catch, multiple efforts, slicing passes, in contesting. We're showing them contesting, like they're releasing the ball, their feet are off the ground, we're second jumpers, our hand is there. And on those, if they make them, you shake their hand. It's the ones where they open and, I'm like, what are we doing? Come on, fellas, like that next effort. It has to be there, and guys are giving those multiple efforts, and it comes from communication. When you're bumping people and you're physical, it gives you time to communicate, and you're slowing people down with their movement, not letting them go where they want to go. Then all of a sudden, there's a communication on the backside, and guys know that they're Xing out and arriving there, and someone's going to give that next effort, make them pass the basketball, and then contest it. I mean, if they're, that's one of the shots that we're okay with, is contested above the break threes. And if they're in the corner, they got to be contested for sure.
When Dylan and Domas are sharing the floor out there, obviously for the first time we've seen it tonight, but offensively in the half court, what are you looking for spacing-wise with that group?
Continuity. The ability for, one to be high, one to be low, one to roll, get back out to the corner. The next one is in a step up, then he's rolling. If you rifle it to the corner, it's up, he'll DHO. Don't think of them as bigs. Think of them as ball players, and they have to learn how to function out there, because that's just one side of the court. The most important side of the court is actually the other side of the court. So, we talking about offense. We got guys that can score the ball and put the ball in the hoop, and we want to do that. But I do know that you have to score more, but that means that you stop somebody. So one thing I know is we can say, spacing, this, that, and the other, but he up above the rim rebounding with two hands that starts the outlet, that starts the fast break, that you don't even need offense for, because now we just out there playing and having fun.
Doug, in that second quarter, you kind of saw the lead kind of diminish a little bit, or was it kind of cut into it? But the third quarter, it seemed like it was different from different third quarters. Usually that's kind of where the game kind of gets blown in. I'm curious, was there anything special that was said at halftime to come out the half like that?
No, I mean, I keep saying it to you guys, but, just to reiterate that, listen, we're about to go out here and we're going to play to this standard. And if we don't, it's going to be a problem. Let's get at it. And to their credit, them guys came out and they was locked in and ready to go. Those guys are all competitors. We got a couple Hall of Famers in there. They know what to do. It's just, it's the game of basketball, similar to the game of life. Sometimes you go through a little bit of a stretch, but the one thing that you can do is control the things that you can control, and that's energy, effort, and enthusiasm. And they came out in the third quarter and they gave all of those things, and all of a sudden the lead began to increase. Then when the second unit comes in, it shouldn't be no fall off, right back at it. So, teams are going to make runs. They did. They got good players over there. They can make shots. But what are you going to do about it when they do that? You're going to get more physical. You're going to rebound. You're going to share the basketball. And they did tonight. Appreciate y'all.